welcome to Question Time here at City South Campus. Today we have got 3 lots of candidates all fighting out for your votes over this week. Today then we have got the candidates of Vice President Student Voice, the part-time Women's Officer and Vice President Student Development. It's quite a simple format. We're going to give each of the candidates 1 minute to speak, to pitch themselves to you, and then we're going to take your questions from the audience and from Twitter as well. If you do want to ask a question on Twitter, all you've got to do is hashtag represent with an exclamation mark, or hashtag get set to stand. All capitals. Well, the first letter is capitals, just to make it nice and easy for you. So we're going to start off then today with the role of Vice President Student Voice. Now this role, VP Student Voice, is there to represent the views of the student body. They also look after democracy and educational campaigns across the university. There are 4 candidates running in this category, and they are Jacob, Alexandros, Lucky and Theodora, and we have 3 of them here today. Very simple, we're going to give them 1 minute to pitch themselves, starting with Jacob. So Jacob, are you ready?
Yep, let's go.
Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay, so I'm Jacob, or Jake, running for Student Voice. 4 main points that I want to get done. Number 1, we need more transparency in the SU. People are telling me, why bother running? The SU aren't doing anything, and that's because they're not hearing about what we're doing. And I want to, tell people more about what we're doing. Point number 2, more inclusive food options. There's no halal options, there's no vegan options. Well, there is vegan options, but they're rubbish at the city centre campuses, and I'm not aware of the other campuses, but that leads into point 3. More outreach to the other campuses. Currently, I've spoken to people from other campuses, and all of them feel like they're their own little island, and I want to make them feel like, we're all one big group or family. And the final point is not just listening to what you want done, doing what you want done.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Next up is Alexandros. Your 1 minute starts now.
Hello, I am Alexandros Tsaltas. I'm coming all the way from Greece. The first reason I applied for to be in the student union as an officer is because when I first arrived here 3 years ago, students' union was what helped me a lot with engaging with other people, etc. If I get elected, the first thing I will do is, as my learned colleague, I will give more power to student reps, give them more power to communicate their message, and I will also give more power to society leaders. As a student rep and as a society leader, I've done so many things, and I always have a struggle to communicate it across all the faculties. That brings me to my second point. My second point is, if I get elected, I will try to get Students' Union to be a platform where cross-faculty relationships started. I already did it in debating society. We had people from communication getting over and having debates that help them with the dissertation. If I get
Alexandros, I'm going to have to stop you there. I'm afraid your 1 minute is up. Lucky, you're next, and your 1 minute starts now.
Hi guys, my name is Lucky, and I'm currently in my first year. So what I want to do if I'm elected as your student voice is that I will try to increase the relationship between different campuses that I've known. I'm currently studying at the city centre campus, and I believe that the smaller campuses are more underrepresented. So I'd want to increase the activities that go on so that more people could get to know each other better, and I want to represent all of the students.
Thank you very much, Lucky. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with asking one of my questions, and then I'm going to hand over to the studio audience and social media as well, ask one of your questions. So you may see somebody walking around with a microphone. If you do have a question in the audience, just stick your hand up, and I will come to you when we can. So, candidates, first of all then, how would you get more students submitting ideas online? Whoever wants to go first, you can go first.
Well, firstly, lots of people I know had no idea that we can submit our ideas online. But then, sometimes BCU is especially city center campus is more of a family. I rather have people drop in my office if I get elected than having them go all the way online. So first of all, I will encourage them to do it offline and get in my office so we can have a debate and have a better structure idea. If I don't get them and they are like from other campuses or they have something which is urgent, I will make sure I advertise, and I will make sure like it will be advertised across like SALs, societies, etc. So like, for example, I'm debating society president and I never advertised submitting your ideas online. Maybe next year I will go in society leaders and tell them, do this for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jacob, Lucky, who wants to go?
I'll go next.
Jacob.
So, I wasn't actually aware you could submit ideas online, so that's the first thing we need to do. Also, making it so that you can just tweet your ideas at the SU. So, send out a quick tweet. There you go. You've got your idea done. Also, inbox is always going to be open when I get elected. I always respond to emails. Always respond to that. But it's just getting the word out there through social media, through just telling people that you can look, just hashtag this or tweet at this. Boom. There you go. You've got your idea submitted.
And Lucky?
Yeah, I agree. I'd say the same thing to do is to use like social media. So people use that the most. Social media, emails, people check up on as well. Just let them know that you can submit all your ideas online.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience? We're just getting a microphone over now. There you go.
Thank you. You all mentioned social media, but I follow BCUSU on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and I think there's been updates literally every single day, and there has been. So do you think that's not already enough? There has been updates every single day on social media by BCUSU from what I've seen.
Okay. Candidates, who wants to go first on that response?
Okay, I'll go first. Not to speak badly of the current Students' Union, because they're all sat in front of me, but I feel a lot of what goes out on the current social media is just not really saying anything. It's just kind of words. There's no, and I know that's everything you say is just words, but it's kind of just a little bit of hot air. So it's not saying like, look, we did this week. It's, hey, do you and your friends want to get cake in your lectures? So it's making, not posting more, but posting more meaningful things. So if that.
Okay.
Then I go second. As I said, when I first answered the question, instead of online things, I will encourage face-to-face communication. Also, one thing with online I forgot to say before, I hate the word limit. When you go to submit the online form, you have a very strict word limit. So most of the times, I spend more time cutting down the words, expressing my idea. So instead of social media, I will encourage face-to-face communication. If I get elected, my goal will be to have 24,000 students get in my office at least once.
Yeah, I think we should put round posters and stuff, get the word round and stuff, because when people read things on social media, yes, they do read it, but they'll forget about it instantly, whereas if there is a poster or something around you, it's in your face, you'll see it and you'll remember it.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Yeah, there's just one there.
One of the job description, one of the power three in the job description is about representation at BCU. So my question is, how do you propose to engage with the representation system? How do you propose to engage with student academic leaders and with school reps as well?
Who wants to go first on that one? Lucky?
I'll go first because I've gone first every other time. So I'm currently a student academic leader, and one of the great things that we do in CB at the moment, Community Engineering Built Environment, is that once every 3 months, the SSA, Student Success Advisors, there's a lot of acronyms involved in this. We have a big council, so we book out one of the lecture theatres, we get food, and we all just sort of sit and have a debate about what's getting done and what we can get done. And I think if the other faculties aren't doing that, bringing something like that to the other faculties so that all the student academic leaders from all the courses can be involved and engage with each other and sort of push it to them that they need to help us engage the average student. Because the average student, other than getting involved in this, I've not really been that involved with the Students' Union in my first couple of years. And it's because a lot of students just want to get in and get a degree, and you need to reinforce to students that it's more than that now. You can't just show up to uni and get a degree because everybody's getting a degree. So you need to engage, you need to get involved with the student union, get involved with the university as a whole, that kind of thing.
Okay. Lucky, do you want to go next?
No, I'll pass.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked because I am a student academic leader for the past 2 years and I'm also a society leader for the past 3 years. I believe that the student academic leader project you and Zoe created, because Zoe was the one before you and you are the current student voice president, is like there is only one flaw in this. There's like a minimum amount of control in SALs. From my experience, like have you or Joe ever met me? Because I haven't been in your office once. I could have been in my room eating Jaffa cakes instead of like helping the voice pass around. Actually, I didn't, and I'm actually nominated for an extra mile award for being a student academic leader. But what I will do is like create a system of checks and balances. They already existed, like student academic leader project. Because to be fair, student academic leaders at this point feel more part of their school and less part of student union, which is a lie because we are part of student union, but I feel more part of law school than that. So like the first thing I will see on if I get elected is like how I get them closer to student union and how I will like check and balance whether they are doing things or like check whether they have issues and they never bring it up with me because they are afraid of me or something. Thank you for asking because
Okay, Lucky?
No, I'll pass on it.
You pass, that's okay. On the sort of the theme of that then, how would you ensure that the executive committee are effectively representing student voice at university committees and meetings? Who wants to go first on this one?
Well, I guess the first thing I can do is like bringing over some students in our meetings. It's also like it's gonna bring us closer to students, and then it's also going to like if students get in our meetings, they are gonna get engaged. Also, like by doing this, like other students may be like, oh, that sounds fun, that sounds cool. I may want to do it next time around. So it will get more people involved, and also it will help me like get the checks and balance. If I'm student voice, I'm not there to express my voice. I'm there to express other people's voice. So I'd rather have like a student in there like next to me and be like, go on and say it, instead of me being like, oh, I got an email from a student that said that and that and that.
Okay. Okay, Lucky, do you want to go next on this one?
Sorry?
Do you want to, have you got a response to...
Repeat the question.
Sorry?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, of course I can. How would you ensure that the executive committee are effectively representing student voice at university committees/meetings?
Yeah, I think the main thing is that we listen to the voice of the students, and yeah, I agree with what he said about getting people to come in on the meetings and maybe like broadcast them as well so they know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, Jacob?
Okay, so this actually is part of my campaign in general. Is I'm going to be going to each society and asking what each society will have me, and asking, what do you want me to do? What do you want me as your student voice to do? Because I'm speaking for you. So, in addition to that, once elected, I'll be bringing students, like both my running mates, let's go with that. Like both of them have said, having students on these meetings, because having meetings about students without students is just a little bit arse.
Okay, do we have any questions from the floor? Yeah, let's go down to the front. Yeah, just down to the front. Thank you.
Hi there. So one of the Power of Three in the job description is about education, and obviously that's the main reason that students come to university. So my question is, in alignment with everything that's going on in the government at the moment, how would you make sure students are getting their value for money in terms of their education and academic experience?
Okay, anyone want to go first on that one? Yeah, okay.
Actually, I'm glad you asked this question because it was the third point of my campaign I couldn't get to because I'm really bad in time management, so I'm really glad that came up. Well, my third point is like, I have an idea to create something like sorts of a founder, sorts of our awareness raising department in the student union. Like, it's like something like this, the mental health awareness thing you created, like, but education-wise. the main issue I had as a student was like I had an offer to go in an amazing internship in USA, but I had no money to do this. So, but then I sit down and I see how much money I spent, like, and how much money I could make working for the student union since I was a first year. And then like I was like, oh, if I had someone telling me this in my first year, I would have saved that money. And then like, so the first part of my what I create will be like help people save money, and the second part will be like create the sorts of funds. I don't know whether it's going to be like cake sales or it's going to be something more creative. I have a background in commission sales and in sales in general, so I will find a way to figure it out because I'm doing it for 5 years in my life. So I will find a way, like, first help people save money, secondly create some funds in order to help like 1 or 2, maybe 3 students to start with, like going travel scholarships founded by BCUSU if I get elected. That's my biggest ambition, actually. Thank you.
Okay. Lucky, Jacob, who wants to go next?
Do you want to go next?
You can go next.
Okay.
Okay, Jacob.
So, making university feel like it's worth your money education-wise is very important. We've all had crap lecturers. We all know that. And I think part of that is making sure that students feel like we're listening when they tell us their lecturers are crap. Because I've spent the past 2 years complaining about some of my lecturers, and it just feels like you're talking to a brick wall. So I think I want to be more, this is part of the transparency, it's more being open with students about what's going on, what we're doing, and just trying to make it so that the education's better and the lecturers, well, I know we can't like fire all the lecturers and start again, but it's making sure that lecturers can teach rather than just being doctors with amazing research records or some bloke who worked at Oxford, so therefore we have to have them at BCU. If you can't teach, you're kind of in the wrong profession, so we need to make sure that our lecturers can teach as well as lecture.
Okay. And Lucky?
The fact that we need to make sure the lecturers can teach and stuff, but we're also going to make sure the lecturers are engaging with the students. We've got to make them want to come to their lectures, their seminars, and attend everything.
Okay, I'm going back to, well, I've got a question from social media here, so we're going back to sort of the idea of student academic leaders. One of the questions says, student academic leaders do have meetings with students, so how are you going to assist the students to have their voices heard? Are you going to bring in anything? Yeah, I can. Student academic leaders do have meetings with students, so how are you going to assist the student to have their voices heard? Are you going to bring in anything? How are you going to assist students to have their voice? Jacob?
Okay, so I assume that the question askers talking about the student feedback forums, which is something that are, in my course at least, woefully badly attended. I think making those feedback forums, not making them mandatory, because then it's kind of, oh, we've got to go to this thing and we've got to give our opinions and we don't really want to do it, but sort of working them into a time that's convenient for students, because a lot of times, I can speak from experience, a lot of these feedback forums tend to be at weird times in the middle of lectures, or like, right, you've got 10 minutes between these lectures, you've got to run to the other side of the building, go to this meeting for 10 minutes, and then run back to your lecture. It's kind of figuring out a time that's best for talking to students about when is best to do these meetings, and then doing them on those times, rather than just going, this is when you show up, and then you will go there then.
Okay. Lucky, Alexandros, who's going next?
I can go next. Well, the thing with, okay, from my experience with student forums, like in my 2 years of experience, we only had 1 student outside from SALS attending. So, and then we have like, and then right after the forum, I have like 5-10 people were like, oh, I wish I attended, I have this idea, I want to go there now and talk. So like, I agree with him. I've never thought it's bad timing, but I just realized it may be bad timing because I'm free on Wednesdays and they always happen on Wednesdays, so I never had the issue with timing. But I don't, like, even if they attend the student forums, etc., there's nothing bad bringing more students in the executive meetings. I believe like it will be better because I don't believe like in setting ideas. I believe in dialogue. So like, okay, I will take ideas from student forum, what happened, but I won't have the chance to like debate on this person's ideas and see like what we can do. So like, one of my roles as a student voice is to assist democracy, and part of democracy is like promote argument and debating. So I will do both. Like I will still stay in my first, what I said before, and be like, I will bring students in the executive meetings.
Okay, and Lucky?
I agree with the idea of the student feedback filter, but I think there should be email to each student so they can spend at their own time, fill it in whenever they feel like, and then email it back to us. That way we can act upon it, basically.
Okay. Also on social media, somebody has asked, what experience have you had that will make you stand out in the elections? Who's going first on this one? Lucky, do you want to go first on this one?
Well, I am only in my first year, but for the last 2 years at my current sixth form, I was president. I've been elected as president, so I've had to do public speeches. I've spoken at evenings and events and stuff. So I've had to take on the voices of students. I've had to represent them in many ways. So if you do elect me, then just be sure you won't regret it. Yeah.
Okay. Jacob?
Okay, going that way. So I've spent the past 18 months being a student academic leader, and during that time I've been engaged in relaying sort of a combination of my opinions and the students on my course's opinions, and sort of helping them get that forward. Also, not to sort of make myself sound old, but I am a little bit older than both my running mates. I'm a third year and I'm in my mid-20s, geez. So that life experience, I think, will help me push forward and get things done, I suppose.
Well, can I start? Well, education-wise, I'm currently finishing my law degree here, which will help me debate on students' problem using student voice, but I'm also doing my degree in communication and mass media back in Greece, so that will help me communicate, market, advertise, etc., etc. In my time, like, my work experience, like I have, as I said, I have 5 years of work experience in sales. Actually, at this point, I'm a manager in retail and wholesale sales in an international clothing company. It's not like a huge clothing company. We are not making billions, but still, I have to do international disputes, etc., etc. Then, in university, I'm engaged with Howard League for 3 years. When I was the first year, even though I was not in the committee, I was really engaged. And that year, actually, Howard League win the award of the most of the Society of the Year. I don't exactly remember the award. Then I was a fundraising officer, and this year I'm president of Debating Society. Actually, this year in Debating Society, I made 5 external competitions, which is the most we ever had. Also, I'm a Amicus rep for this university. Amicus is an organization fighting death penalty, and as far as I know, I met both 3 of the criteria they gave me when I first started. So I have experience in marketing, making money, fundraising, organizing things. So pretty much I believe I'm the man for the job, and you have to vote for me.
Okay, let's get another question from the audience. Who's got a question? Yeah, we can.
Hiya.
Oh.
Hello. Sorry about that. This is for Alessandros. You said that you'd have 24,000 students in your office all at once. That's 92 people every day. How are you going to cope with that level of responsibility, and also manage everything else like social media in the engagement of students?
Well, pretty much you ask like how I'm gonna cope with 24,000 students' voice.
Yes. Yeah. How are you going to cope
start
with
with
that
like
level?
that's what I applied for. That what intrigued me, and I was like, I want to do this job. I already did that successfully in the law school, which is like 1,000 students already, and law students are like the ones that complain the most. And I am so like that was my phone. Sorry. So pretty much what I'm gonna do, it's like. That's why I applied for this job. Well, I will have 35 hours per week to do this. So like if we take 24, like I believe it's something you can do. Next year I will work full time on student voice. I won't go on masters if I get elected. I will take like this is gonna be my work from like the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. And also I love like I will then like try to put people in groups. Like, for example, I won't be like, I want every single law student in there, but if there are like, for example, some law students doing international human rights that had an issue, I will be more than welcome to like have like 15 of them together instead of having them one by one saying like, oh, I have this issue with my coursework, I have this issue with my coursework. So like, I will try to set problems together, but even if it's one-on-one, I think I will make it, because I will work for 12 months, 35 hours per week to do this. So I'm ready to do this, and that's what intrigued me to do so.
Okay, and Lucky and Jacob, do you want to add anything to that question?
I think the point about making sure every student's voice is heard, but doing it in such a way, it just isn't feasible to have every single student come into my office and go, hey, I've got this problem. It's sort of, because I've got other things to do. It's not that I'm saying I'm too busy to listen to people. I'm always on my phone, anyone who knows me. Emails, Facebook messages, tweet at me, always there to listen. Even now, during the campaign, find me on Facebook, find me on social media, message me with things you want done over the next year, and I'm going to try my best to get them done. Obviously within reason. Don't ask me to take you out for a drink, because I'm broke as hell like the rest of you. So.
Okay, and Lucky, do you want to add anything?
I think I would try to like get people like volunteers to help me out and then feeding back to me and what it is that people actually want. Like, the problems that people have, I would get people to volunteer to help feedback, tell me what it is that they want sorted, and then get back to them as soon as I can.
Okay, another question from social media. How would you try to resolve issues with issues students have with lecturers, coursework, etc., when a dispute arises? Who wants to go first on that one? Yeah. Yeah, if no one else wants to, yeah.
Pretty much, I already did it in the law school a couple of times. Can I give examples? Yeah.
If you feel the need to, then.
Well, I believe like there are certain rules set out like for courseworks and exam dates, etc., etc. So I believe if universities create an issue with students, I had an issue where like feedback was delayed for a week, and then I was like, okay, if you are late for a week, we deserve the extra week, and we actually in the law school we take the extra week for exams. But for lecturers, like I know from law school, like lecturers try to learn from each other. So if we had people that had amazing research background, but when like they were working for EU organizations, United Nations, etc., but when they get in lecturing, they were asking people who didn't even have a master's to help them with teaching. So I believe like I will try to get lecturers together and learn from each other. I've noticed in law school lots of lecturers like get and look on other people's lectures to like get notes on what they do nice with slides, what they do wrong with slides. So I will encourage lecturers to learn from each other, because at the end of the day, university is about learning.
Okay, Jacob, Lucky, who wants to go next? Lucky?
Yeah, I think the main thing basically is just to sit them both down and try and resolve the problem, because folk could like either of them, so the best thing is to speak to them and just solve it like that. It's the best way, I think.
Okay, and Jacob?
I think I'd have to agree with Lucky on this one. It's making the student union feel like we can be the middleman in your dispute. So sometimes disputes with lecturers can get a bit heated, and you don't really want to slag off or annoy the person who's marking your work that might impact the future of your career. So having the student union and me as your student voice as the middleman in these disputes is the best way to go, because then you come to me and go, oh, our lecturer's rubbish because he's doing this, this and this. I go, okay, that's cool. And then feed that back to the faculty in a way that kind of filters out you calling them a moron and all that, every name under the sun. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Keep all your questions coming in. #represent! #get set to stand. Do we have any questions from the audience? Audience, any questions? Yeah, we've got one at the front.
Hi, what would be your first educational campaign?
Okay, first educational campaign. Who's going first on this one? Does anyone else want to go first?
I'll go first on this one.
Okay, Jacob.
Okay, there's an educational campaign that I'm very interested in, and it's about getting more women into computing and engineering. And I think that's very important, because as a computing student, I am like 90% of people in computing are men, and I think we do need to get girls at a younger age into computing, into engineering, into these kind of things, and then feed them through into the university system. So something along those lines.
Okay, Lucky, do you want to go next? Okay, Alexandros.
As a president of Debating Society, I already had an offer from a lady in India who needs help in how to get students learn math easier and with lesser resources. So that can be one of my education campaigns. But as I already said, my third point is like to create this whole education program in founding people to do travel for educational reasons, or like do internships, because we know like lots of students have offers for internships, but they can't make it there because they don't have the money to do so. So like, out of my mind, like, to be fair, I don't want to say a campaign now because I'm only aware of law school, and if I get elected, I believe it's a big mistake if I put law school first, because it's like so many faculties. So at this point, I'm biased. I can think only of like human rights educational campaigns, etc., etc. But if I get elected, the first thing I will do the first day in the office is I will try to set out my found campaign, saving money for your internship, and then I will do what else we can do. The computing one sounds very interesting. I've never heard before because I'm bad with computing, but...
Okay, and Lucky?
I think the key to making sure that you get a good education is also the learning environment that you're in. So I'd use like any of the money that we have to increase the learning environment, to get more resources so that students feel comfortable and they have everything they need to ensure that they are getting good education, they're making the use of everything that they have.
Okay. Have you finished yet? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so a question has come in on social media saying, I'm a law student and a common issue is inconsistency of marking coursework and exams. What would you do about this? Who would like to go first on this one? It's a law student, a common issue is inconsistency marking in coursework and exams. What would you do about this? Who wants to go first on that one?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
first of all, I'm a law student, so please email me because I'm still a SAL. So like if you have any issues with your coursework, I'm not aware, so like my email is alexandros@bcu, etc., etc. So like the first thing you have to do is like email your SALs. I'm currently one of them, so please email me and tell me what's the problem with inconsistency. Then I know like, unfortunately, this year we had an issue with lecturers leaving, so maybe that's the reason with this. And the third thing I can do as student union is like ask them to have more moderations, because like as we know, every single university has to do like moderation in marking. So like if inconsistency past moderation there is an issue, they have to raise it with their SALs, and then the student voice, etc., have to raise it and like ask for moderation again and again. But please, like the problem is like the thing we are talking 5 minutes ago, give power to SALs. They are not even aware we are there for them to tell us like I had this issue, get there. So that's my answer.
Okay, Jacob, Lucky, who's going next?
Similar to the question that was asked earlier as well, I think the best way to do it though, however, is just to speak to the lecturer and to the student, because there's some problem going on, and there must be a reason that there's inconsistencies. The best way is to resolve it, like speaking to each other.
Okay, and Jacob?
I've got to say, this isn't just a law student problem. We get this all the time in computing. I'm still waiting on marks from Christmas. If you're listening, Ron, can I have those marks back? So I think what we need to do is we need to have it more... there is a set period of time that lecturers have to give you marks back by. And I think if you don't get it back in that time, you should get some form of extension, like Alex was saying with the law students getting extension on their exams because they had a week delay on that. If I did that, I'd be having my exams in like September rather than June. But it's making sure that not we as a student union are bothering lecturers and going, come on, you need to give marks back. Come on, you need to give marks back. It's making it so students have somewhere to go. Oh, okay, my lecturer hasn't given my marks back. What do I do? So that's what I'm going to be there for. Send me an email, pop into my office, all that, and I'll just tell you what you can do about this, which in some situations may not be a tremendous amount, but then I'll go and talk to the faculty and get a word on what's going on, whether there has been some situation with technology or a situation with the lecturer that means that they can't get it done. Just finding out why and letting you know why.
Okay, and before we close this question time to an end and we move on to another set of candidates, last question is, the current student voice is doing a great job. How do you plan on improving his work? This has come through social media.
George, did you send that one? Well, to answer the current student voice's question, I feel he is doing...
We can clarify he did not ask that question. Go on, Jacob, carry on.
I do feel that he is doing a brilliant job, actually. And I think liaising with him before I start and finding out if there's anything that he wants to get, anything that needs to get done that can't be done by the time he finishes, and making sure that things don't end half finished. Another thing to improve on this is, like I said, more transparency, more telling people just exactly what we're doing, and making people feel like we're more than just listening to them. We're doing what they want them to do.
Okay, Lucky or Alexandros? Lucky?
Said, but I think the best thing to do is just to elaborate on whatever was being done last year and just try your best to improve it by just, like making sure whatever we say, that we actually act upon it, don't just say it, basically.
Right. As I can say, like, well, the past 3 voice people were like amazing. Like, I can still remember how amazing Jenny was, and that's why he got elected as president. I can still remember how good Zoe was, and she was elected as president. And I don't know about George. Good luck. Good luck getting elected. If you Oh, you're not running. Okay. So but I believe they created an amazing momentum for us to take on and continue on doing that. Well, I have found some flaws in the student academic leaders issue. For example, with training, you are aware because I was the one who emailed you, we haven't got our training yet. So the only thing I will do is create a checks and balances system, because I believe sometimes student academic leaders is based on the passion of some people. Some people dropped out, some people just do it for the CVs, but doing it just for your CV is not enough. And I will make sure next year nobody's gonna do it for his CV and do not do his job and rely on the person who's passionate about it. So that's the only thing I will change on voice. And also, I have to applaud you for your mental health awareness program. That's one of the reasons I applied, because I want to continue on this. So, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, candidates. So just to end then, I'll run through the names of the 4 candidates running for VP Student Voice. They are Jacob, Alexandros, Lucky and Theodora. We're going to take about a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back with the candidates for the part-time women's officer. We'll see you in about 10 minutes' time.